This guy decided to bring home explosives to his apartment, and he had a pet monkey. Well, the pet monkey, he was letting play with the explosives, and the pet monkey actually set the explosives off, and it like flattened, it blew up everything right in that area. Tons of people died. It was very sad.
Good evening, listeners, brave navigators of the enigmatic and the concealed. Have you ever felt the pull of the unanswered, the allure of the mysteries that shroud our existence? For more than a decade, a unique comic publisher has dared to dive into these mysteries, unafraid of the secrets they might uncover. This audacious entity is Paranoid American. Welcome to the mystifying universe of the Paranoid American podcast.
Launched in the year 2012, Paranoid American has been on a mission to decipher the encrypted secrets of our world. From the unnerving enigma of MK-Ultra mind control to the clandestine assemblies of secret societies. From the awe-inspiring frontiers of forbidden technology to the arcane patterns of occult symbols in our very own pop culture. They have committed to unveiling the concealed realities that lie just beneath the surface. Join us as we navigate these intricate landscapes, decoding the hidden scripts of our society and challenging the accepted perceptions of reality.
Folks, I've got a big problem on my hands. There's a company called Paranoid American making all these funny memes and comics. Now, I'm a fair guy. I believe in free speech, as long as it doesn't cross the line. And if these AI-generated memes dare to make fun of me, they're crossing the line.
This is your expedition into the realm of the extraordinary, the secret, the shrouded. Come with us as we sift through the world's grand mysteries, question the standardized narratives, and brave the cryptic labyrinth of the concealed truth. So strap yourselves in, broaden your horizons, and steel yourselves for a voyage into the enigmatic heart of the Paranoid American podcast, where each story, every image, every revelation brings us one step closer to the elusive truth.
You guys ever feel like there's something strange in your neighborhood? That's a horrible intro for this, isn't it?
No.
But I've got Ashley from Ghost Gossip, which is a paranormal podcast, and I'm going to ask a whole bunch of different questions about ghosts today. So welcome to the show, first of all. Thanks for coming here and hanging out.
Thanks
what
for
are you all
having
about?
me.
What are you all about?
I am all about spirits and hauntings and haunted history.
And do you live in a haunted house?
Not currently, no. I mean, I have things that kind of come through, but it kind of comes with the territory of talking about this and being sensitive and being intuitive. Like, I always have stuff around me, but I lived in a haunted house for several years before I sold it.
Okay. Can you fetch extra cash from that? Like, is there like a separate market base for people that are looking for? Because I guess I was going to save this for a little bit later, but since my mind's on it, since capitalism is basically like the best thing that humans have ever created, right? I think we all agree on that universally.
Yeah.
So if that's true, it seems that there would be like a niche collection of like super rich people that are also super into ghosts that would just go and buy up all the haunted properties to just have a monopoly on ghost properties.
You know, it's in a residential neighborhood. It's got an HOA. I don't think the HOA would allow it. So I just sold it. I just was like, it's normal. No ghost here.
The HOA wouldn't allow it to be haunted, or it wouldn't allow you to talk about it being haunted?
Probably allow it being a haunted attraction.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Isn't that just something that happens if something is actually haunted enough that objectively people would want to come by, like the haunted hotel rooms and all this? Like even those, it's rare that they even really promote them, right? People know about it and they're like, rent room 3 whatever in this hotel, but it's not like you go in and it's like, would you like the 315 suite, you know?
Right. Yeah. Well, it probably would have, but my neighbors were kind of asses. So, there's no telling. So it was just like one of those things, like we had to move. We did not sell it because it was haunted. I loved it. I'm not even going to lie. Like, I got very used to it. It was always something going on. And I'm glad I don't live there anymore, because when you live in a haunted house, it's a different level of anxiety that's always going on in the air. It's just energy all the time. And now that I'm out and it's very calm, it's very nice not living in that. But yeah, it was one of those things. We moved because of the kids' school, and it's very hard to maintain 2 houses.
Can't you just like Xanax your way out of caring about a haunted house though?
No,
No. Would can
no.
they well let's come back to the haunted house
Yeah,
because
we'll come back to it.
I'm curious, have you always believed in ghosts your entire life? Like growing up as a kid, everything, or
Yes.
did like something happen? Okay, so you did all your parents and friends and family all believe in ghosts?
My parents do, yes, and we had a shared experience when I was 13 years old, around that age, and it was my mom, my dad, and myself, and it was one of those things, like, when it happened, it was like, "Wow, okay, so those are real, got it," and then it just stuck with me, and then as I've gotten older, you don't really talk about it, you get in your teenage years, in your 20s, and you're like, "Ooh, I care what people think about me," and then you get in your 40s, and you're like, "I don't care anymore." So it's like, I don't care. You think I'm weird? That's fine. You don't pay my bills. It's okay.
It's the one good thing about the fourth decade is that you can
It
legitimately stop caring. Yeah.
it really is. I have this mentality, let's just see what happens.
Yeah, I made it this far, right?
Yeah, like
Nothing stopped me yet.
right,
No one's
like,
ever
let's
died at 40. No. Uh,
well.
so uh, okay, you grew up before 13 though, when you had that shared experience, was it just something that you trust existed but didn't have any experience of like a haunting or ghosts?
Yeah, we really I mean, it was one of those things. I grew up in New Orleans and born in South Carolina, grew up in New Orleans, and then moved back to South Carolina. And it was just one of those things, it wasn't really talked about on a regular basis. My parents weren't like, "Ooh, do you want to talk about a ghost story?" or anything like that. But if something happened, they weren't like, "We don't talk about that," or "Those don't exist." They encouraged whatever. They were always very supportive. And once we did have that shared experience, it was very much like, "Okay, well, that's real. Got it." And my dad is really spiritual. My mom is more religious. We're all Catholic. And it was just one of those things. It happened. And then we rolled along. It's so funny because my dad actually brought it up last Halloween. He's like, "Ash, do you remember?" And I was like, "Yes, I do."
That's actually one of like those hallmarks of the stories that get to me because I'm biased on the table. I'm kind of a skeptic at heart, but I'm fascinated by all this. I mean, this is what I grew up in, was believing all this stuff, and then maybe over time I become attached. So part of the reason that you're here today too is maybe you can sell me. You can sell me back on ghosts a little bit, and I think it's possible.
Yeah.
Before we move on though, we're just a nitpick question. I was raised Catholic too, and it's just funny when you say that like your dad's a spiritual Catholic and your mom's a religious Catholic. What's the
Yeah.
difference between a spiritual Catholic and a religious Catholic?
Well, to me, the difference is like my mom's like, "I want to go to church. I'm going to pray. I'm going to get holy water. I'm going to know all the saints. I'm going to do this, 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 this." And my dad's just like, "I'm Catholic." But he has his beliefs of the spirit realm and everything. And that's kind of my mind. Like he has his faith, but he's not religious. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No, it does make sense. It's like it's
You're not
a
going to
little
see
bit
him
of a
sitting in the
Pascal
pew
Slager
every.
approach. That's the way I see it. Like you did the Catholic part, you got the baptized, you didn't do the bad things, and before you die, maybe you'll say sorry, and then you're kind of good. You don't need to remember every single saint's name and count every single bead on the rosary, the X number of
Right.
times. Yeah.
Yep, and that's my mama. She's got a rosary. Every time she goes to Italy, she always brings me a rosary back. She gets things blessed. I mean, she's a beautiful human being, wonderful, beautiful soul. And then, she's like, "I need to go to church. I need to find a church." And my dad's like, "Okay." But, if it's up to him, he's not going to be there every Sunday. He's kind of like me. We feel like we don't have to be in church every Sunday to talk to God. So, it's just one of those things. And my mom, I think as she's gotten older, she's kind of put distance there. She's moving and grooving. That woman is very popular. She stays busy. But when I was younger, it was every Wednesday, every Sunday, every Wednesday, every Sunday.
Do you consider ghosts in the realm of angelic and demonic? Like, is it even somewhere on that spectrum, or is it completely not on that?
No, not for me. No, I think that angels exist. I think that demons exist. I don't think it's just two categories. I think there's a lot of energy and a lot of spirits in between, and I don't categorize spirits as being one or the other.
So, would you say spirits after you die can still be influenced angels and demons?
I don't know. I've never thought about that.
Because clearly, I mean, I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth. So I would assume that if you believe in ghosts, then there's probably some that are somewhat altruistic or benevolent or at least neutral, and
Mhm.
then there's malicious
Oh,
ones,
yeah.
right? Like your
Oh, yeah.
poltergeist and stuff. So
Yeah,
there's clearly a spectrum of like good and bad, even if that's not making like I'm not judging any ghosts for doing their thing out there, right? But there's clearly like a good ghost and a bad ghost.
Oh, yeah,
So
that is for sure. I don't know if they just switch, you know what I mean? I don't know if, like, you have an entity or a spirit that could just be like, "I'm gonna be good now." You know what I mean? I think that if my feeling about them and my personal experience with them, if they are crotchety in life, they're gonna be crotchety in death. If they're a pretty nice person in life, then you might have somebody pretty nice in death. I think that when you're dealing with, like, haunted locations and you have and this is just my personal opinion. When you have haunted locations and then you have all these people coming in all the time and they're like, "How'd you die? What year did you die? What is your name?" Blah, 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 blah. And they're just like being berated with questions. They might just be like, bored, tired, not answering this. I think they get worn out. I think and maybe that's just my ignorance. Maybe that's just my warped imagination, but that's what I believe.
do you think ghosts can learn new things, or are they like locked into kind of just playing a recording of their past?
I think that with residual energy, it is just reliving things over and over and over. But I think intelligent hauntings, they can learn. It's just like equipment. If you get new paranormal equipment, they can learn how to use it. Whereas residual is not going to interact with that, but intelligent will.
Let's talk about toys, ghost toys, because you just
Okay.
mentioned equipment, and like I've got my thumb a little bit on the pulse of I think like the Ghostbuster world and the different types of talk boxes and
Hmm.
spirit talking technology, and ones that use sound waves where they jump different radio
Hmm.
channels. There's ones that use all sorts of weird like random number generators. Like, what are the coolest ghost toys out? And like, have you used any ghost toys?
Yes. So in my cabinet here, I have some. I have a REM pod that it picks up EMF energy and it's like it's spatial, The closer that something gets to it, it'll pick up. It has different lights on it. If it grabs the antenna, it will go crazy. I have an EMF reader and that picks up EMF. That is not reliable on its own. You have to use it with something else because EMF is any kind of energy. My phone, iPad, the oven, anything that generates electricity will put off an EMF. So an EMF reader is just kind of like, it's fun for the kids to use. You know what I mean? But you have to use it with something else. With spirit communication, I have a spirit box and it's the one that runs through the static and you can pick up words. And then you also have, like, I have the apps on my phone just because they're for entertainment purposes only. And they can be, you know, they are apps. They are software based. So there's no telling, but they're
Are they
fun.
legit? Are the apps legit compared to a hardware version?
I think now I really like the necrometer or the necrometer. I really like it. The evidence that I've gotten from it, the words I've gotten from it, sometimes have been so spot on when there's no reason. And I'll tell you a few examples. I have more than two or three. But the thing with these apps, they are entertainment purposes. They are man-made. They are running off of something that's been updated by somebody. So it's like, are they real? Are they
I'm just curious. I don't want to cut you off. What other purpose would it have if it's not for entertainment? What are you getting
well,
stock
I
tips from ghosts or?
Well, I say that because hardcore paranormal investigators hate them. Like old school paranormal investigators are like, that's crap. They don't work.
Cares?
Blah, blah,
Who
blah.
cares?
So,
Who cares about what the old crotchety crowd thinks?
I just try to be fair.
Okay. All right.
I try to make sure, like, if you have a listener that's never done anything with paranormal and they're like, ooh, an app, just know it's an app. Take it
Okay.
for what it is. It's still an app.
Fair
Now,
point.
this one I like because you cannot manipulate the words. There are some of these spirit talker apps you can pay for them and then you can add words to it. And I don't like that. I don't think you should be able to manipulate the words that are coming out of it. So that's just my personal opinion. Now, one of the things that I've gotten off this, when I lived in my haunted house, it was wild. I always called it a maze. And when we were walking through the house to buy the house, I was like, this is like a maze. This house is a maze. So when my realtor came to when we sold the house, she was the original realtor that sold us the house. And we were walking through and she knew what was going on and I had it running. And he said, or it came through maze, which I thought was funny because at the time I didn't have anything like this. I didn't have any equipment. And my realtor goes, that's what you said this house was when we bought it. So that's one example. Another example is right before I closed on the house, I went into the house, I had it running. Anytime I went there, I always had it running just because it was interesting what it said. I was looking out the window at the backyard. When we bought the house, it was like this enchanted garden, and we had clear cut it because it was like a snake pit, and we had dogs and kids.
Literal snake pit?
It was bad. It was a ton of ivy that we could not see through, and there were snakes all back there. It was,
yeah, real snake pit.
yes, it was terrifying. It was stuff everywhere. So we went back. It took us 2 years to clear it out, but we finally got it cleared out. And I'm standing at the back window looking out, and it goes backyard. And I'm like, and I'm not talking because it's just me. And I'm like, okay. And then it said, I'm in the backyard. And I'm like, okay. And then I had made the new owners or the buyers of the house this little scent warmer. And I was leaving it in the house for them. So I go to smell it, and it goes, I like that smell. And I was like,
where's the voice coming from? Seriously.
So
like, did you hear it spatially?
No, it comes from, it just writes across the screen.
Okay.
Yeah. So
this is the app. You're still talking about the app that
yes,
you're using.
Yeah, I'm giving you examples about the app. Yeah. And so what this is said to do is supposed to run through radio stations just like a spirit box does, and it's spitting out the words it's picking up. That's what they say how this works.
And is it transcribing the audio and telling you like what the text is? Okay, got it.
So yeah. So and there are some apps that you can have and you can listen to the radio stations and you'll hear the words and it won't transcribe them. You're just hearing whatever words are coming through. But with this one, it transcribes it. Like I said, it's a visual. I am ADHD. I love a good visual, But yeah. And then when I was leaving my house and closing the garage, and it said, I am alone. And I was like, oh.
I want to talk a little more about like the crotchety older crowd of like paranormal investigations.
Don't get me hated by people.
We're not going to say any specific names, but they're I'll say one specific name, but it's just because he's a friend of mine, friend of the show, Chaz of the Undead, and he's been like in a couple different like paranormal. Anyways, this theory that he was kind of like spitballing with me at one point was that there's a particular haunted house in Florida. I don't know the name of it. He would. And for some reason in this house, they found like a spherical metallic ball of some unknown origin. It follows like these similar paranormal stories where no one knows where this came from. But what also has happened in this house is that it attracts people that believe in haunted houses. It attracts people that believe in aliens because they think that the metal sphere might have come from outer space or come from, some kind of intelligence. And then apparently it attracts some Bigfoot people that also claim to have seen Bigfoot in the same area. And there's this interesting dynamic that comes up where the ghost guy shows up and he's investigating a haunted house. And then an alien crew shows up and they're like, maybe this is alien. And the ghost guy's like, come on, like I'm taking this seriously. This is clearly a haunted house. Don't bring your alien nonsense in here. And then the Bigfoot guy's out on the front lawn and like the alien guy and the ghost guy are yelling at the Bigfoot guy. And he doesn't know what he did wrong because they're all just there for like this paranormal. So like there's some concepts that maybe it's all like the same thing, that like your Catholic lens is making you see things as ghosts, but someone else might see it as like Bigfoot, or someone else might see it as. Do you think there's any validity to that? Or do you think that those are all distinct things?
I think it's all paranormal. I think that I always find it funny that some people can believe in Bigfoot and aliens, but not ghosts. And I'm like, my husband's one of them. And I give him the hardest time about it because he's like, he said it on the Bigfoot episode I just put out. He's like, I just don't have enough experience with spirits to be able to say they're real. And I was like, but you have enough experience with Bigfoot and aliens to tell me that they're real? And he's like, damn it. I was like, because he was like, before we lived there, he was a huge skeptic. He didn't believe in ghosts at all, but he is a firm believer that aliens exist and Bigfoot exist. And so I think that it's all paranormal. It's all things that can't be explained. I don't think it's more one or the other. I think that it's really just however you perceive it. And I think I always find it funny when some people can believe in one and not the other. And they will like fight with you, ready to go. And I'm like, but none of it's proven. Can't prove any of it, really.
Is what's the closest case of a haunting or a ghost that you think we've gotten to proven? Like, even if it didn't make it all the way to the finish line, which ones do you think are like the big ones? Like, all I
Mm.
can consider is like the Amityville kind of thing, but I don't know if that's just because it was in a certain location or what.
Well, and I think the Amityville has been debunked, but I'm not sure. I haven't done any research on Amityville yet. I think Conjuring has is not proven. It gets really murky because of the people that were involved, and the stories seem to change. But if you talk to Andrea Perrin, who is the original daughter, one of the original daughters that lived in the house during the hauntings, I mean, she's very consistent. I think, let's see, I'm trying to think of some of the other ones, like not houses. Oh, there's so many, like just places. I think Penhurst has some good evidence, but like I don't investigate. So I was supposed to go to Penhurst. I didn't make it. It was very sad.
You've got all the tools that an investigator would have, right? What are you missing other than just, I guess, just showing up and doing the thing?
Locations and time. I have 3 teenagers.
Well, I mean, you're in South Carolina, right?
I
There's
am,
plenty
yeah.
of haunted locations all around South Carolina, no?
Where?
Every plantation, I would assume?
Ah, well, yeah, some of those are privately owned, though. You just can't show up.
Oh, that, I guess that's true. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
like I guess you also needed permission to be on some of those places.
Yes. And
And
so, yeah, it's like
right.
all these things like, and I am not a scientist. You know what I mean? Like that's not where
I don't
my
know. I don't know. I might disagree with you on that.
and that's okay. But in my mind, I'm not out trying to prove it. I love to learn. I love to hear stories. To me, more of a storyteller. I want to hear the stories. I want to have the experiences in order to tell them.
It's a fair point. Although if you've got 20 different apps installed on your iPad, you still got to make a judgment call as to
True.
which one of those you're going to open for your next session. And however you come across that decision, there's a little bit of
Mhm.
scientific thought in that. Like, well, this one has better X, Y, and Z, right? So I don't know. At
Yeah,
a certain level, I think we're all kind of scientists. I don't like
true.
to gatekeep that word
No,
behind academia. Academia is nonsense.
no.
Uh,
And
so
that's fair. But I think too, it just comes to personal preference as well. It's like, I like this one better just because I do.
it's a fair point. It's a fair point. What about the difference between visuals and auditory, like phenomenon when it comes to hauntings? Is there any like difference between like sometimes you'll just hear something, sometimes you might see something? Like,
Mhm.
have you ever seen like the Victorian style?
I have seen when I was at the Crescent Hotel in Arkansas, I saw a woman in the window in a Victorian style gown, and I have a picture of that. And you can see her, but some people don't see it. But I see her plain as day. And I'm like, she's right there. But some people don't see it. I have a lot of experiences. I have so many experiences that it makes me sound batshit crazy. You know what I mean? I have I hear things, I see things, I've seen shadow people. I mean, and I've been dead staring at them. Like it wasn't out of the corner of my eye. It was me staring wide awake and seeing them. And I hear them. And I've had things move. I've had a candle fly off the shelf in my direction before. Like but with not everybody has those. You know what I mean? Some
Well,
people just hear knocks, and I hear knocks as well. It's crazy.
once you start talking about candles flying off shelves, though, now I'm like, to me, it's a completely different category because now this means that ghosts or some sort of paranormal entity can use the physical world against
Mhm.
you. And like one of the examples I like to think of is that what if someone can throw a candle off a shelf, then if you're like leaning down picking something up and there's something on a top shelf and they
Mhm.
just have to push it off, that could potentially kill you easily. So a
Yeah.
ghost could fairly easily kill you, and no one would even see it. They would just be like,
No,
"Oh, he fell out of the shelf."
I
How
always I
Go
always
yeah,
joked
go
with
ahead.
my husband. I always joked with him when we were in the other house because that's where the candle came off the shelf at me when I was walking by it, like, came off.
Like,
I was
at
like,
you, or did it just, like, fall off the
"No,
wall as
at
you walked
me,
by it?
at me." It was on one of these shelves, and it was positioned where so the shelf had legs like this, and it was positioned behind the leg so that way it wouldn't come off. So it literally had to come out and over to get around the leg. of the shelf. And I was walking by, and this is when the activity in my house was really aggressive. And I walked by, and it just came in my direction. I was like, it was so weird because it literally had to come out and over to get where I was. And I always joked with
For
my
you in
husband,
particular.
he didn't like me. He didn't like women. And so he really didn't like me.
How did you know
And
it was a he? At what point?
from his sister and the neighbors.
Oh, so this was known to other people in the neighborhood that it was a haunted house and that it was haunted by a specific person?
It was only owned by one other person other than myself before I bought it. And the neighbors told me if anything happens in that house, it's him. So that kind of was like my first. We had things happen from the moment we moved in, and I was just writing them off, ignoring them. And then when I met the neighbors and we started talking, they were like, he was like in love with that house. He was really aggressive. And if there's anything going on in that house, it's him.
Did you hear any of this before you
No.
bought the house? It all
No.
happened after you bought the house.
Yes.
Okay, just if you had heard it before, would it have made an impact on whether or not you
No.
bought it? Okay.
Mm-mm. No,
So it doesn't
because we
matter
needed
anyway.
a house.
Yeah, true.
It was
Not a deal
2021.
breaker.
No. Oh, absolutely not. No. And he died in the house. I didn't know that either. That probably wouldn't have affected it either. You know, people die in houses all the time. People live in houses, they die in houses. It happens. You know, it's one of those facts of life. Where are they all supposed to die? Are they all supposed to die in hospitals? No, people die at home. And he died in the house. He died in the kitchen. And it wouldn't have affected me. I mean, it probably would have made me like think twice, just like, okay. But it was 2021. We had 3 kids all the same age. We were living in a 1,600 square foot house. Our daughters, who were both the same age, were sharing a room. They were about to kill each other. And we only had one bathroom for a time, and there's 5 of us. We needed a bigger house, and this house was 5,500 square feet, and it was in our budget. And it was 2021. Do I have to say that again? And interest rates were like 2.6. We had a 2.5, and it was like, we have got to get in a bigger house.
And the ghost doesn't even take up the bathroom, even if he's in there. It doesn't even matter, right?
He had his own room.
if someone was looking into getting a house now and they heard that it was haunted, is that a deal breaker now? Would you, as you suggesting to other people, no, not a deal breaker, so you can live with a haunting?
I can. Yeah. Not everybody can. Because a lot of people I talked to, they were like, why are you still there? And I'm like, 2.5 interest rate. You know what I mean? Because after that, they went up to like 6%. That's a big difference. And then it was like, you know, it's one of those things. I think it's cool. And my family, it was tough in the beginning. It was tough. It was really tough. But once we all got used to it, it was just like he became like a little grumpy grandpa upstairs. Like we all talked to him. My kids still talk to him. So it was one of those things.
Do you think
Weird.
is he there forever?
I think he's attached to the house.
Is that what it is? Is that he loved his house so
Mm.
much that when he died, he couldn't move on?
Yeah, he loves that house. So his sister told me when I closed on the house, she's like, one of his biggest regrets was that he did not have a family. He invested so much time and effort into that house. That was what he had. He was married for like very short period of time, ended up getting either annulled or divorced. I was told annulled, but I don't know for sure. And he never remarried again. He lived with his mother, and it was just the 2 of them. They were both big energies, big characters, not very nice, and they were very isolated. And it was just like the 2 of them. And that's what I heard from everybody that knew him. And he ended up having some kind of surgery, and he had a really bad allergic reaction to something during the surgery. And then they gave his sister medication in order to help him when he got home, and he ended up having an allergic reaction to that and passing away.
So just to be clear, we're not talking about necessarily a traumatic event or a murder happened or like some horrific large thing that would have like spiked on some spiritual scale. It was just that he was so attached to material reality that he still hasn't been able to let go of it. And that's really,
Well, it was pretty traumatic if you think about it. I mean, he had an allergic reaction and died. You know, that's pretty traumatic if
well, I guess
you.
dying in itself is tragic.
But
Yeah.
like he didn't die of old age. He was early 60s, I think. Maybe, you know, to me, like my parents are 68. To me, they're still young. I mean, they're still moving and grooving, and they're in good health. If they had an allergic reaction today and died, that would be very traumatic, I would think. But from what I understand, he just went in for a surgery and then ended up passing away. Now, I don't know all the details, but from what I've been told, to me, that sounds, I think the way he died was pretty traumatic. He had anaphylaxis shock and ended up dying in the kitchen.
And do you think, like, what do you think about the attachment there? Is it something that'll be in every case permanent, or is there ways that like a human could intervene and help a ghost actually move on? Or is that not how ghost math works?
Well, I guess ghost math is there are people that help ghosts move on. I don't know the ins and outs of that. I really don't. I know people are like, just tell them to move on. I'm like, what? That makes no sense. You would think if they could just move on, they would just move on, right? So I don't know all the ins and outs of that. I know there are people that do help spirits move on, but I don't know how that works.
Can you just ask questions? Is there like a Q&A type of interaction you can have with a ghost, or is that like pulling teeth? Like,
I
could you
think
just ask, why haven't you moved on, and get it in a response?
I think psychic mediums can. I think if hold on, my dog is scratching. Mandy. She likes to come in here with me. She's my little recording buddy. I think that psychic mediums can communicate a lot easier just because they are on another level. But I think you can use like maybe spirit boxes, and it takes time because from what I understand from investigators and people that do this for a living, the longer you are around a spirit, the more comfortable they are with you. So if you just kind of go in initially and just like, hey, move on, they might not respond to you because they don't know you. You're a stranger.
Or like
But
a cat?
yeah, like a cat. But hell, I've had my cat, and my cat still kind of looks at me like I'm a stranger. Just kind of, she's indifferent to me some days. It makes me sad because I just want her to love me.
This sounds like a ghost. Like cats
I
and
know.
ghosts actually sound pretty similar now.
They really do. Yeah. And Mavis, that's my little black cat. She's my little ghost. She's very aloof. She comes in and out.
Is there? I know that this particular case that we're talking about in the haunted house you had experience with, he died of anaphylactic shock. It was like a very sudden kind of thing.
Mhm.
Is there a way? And I'm not asking you for the formula or anything, but do you
Yeah.
think that there's like a way you can create a ghost? Is there like a perfect, if you found the right person with the right personality and you put them into a house and you made sure that they died in some specific way, do you think that there's like a way that you could more often than not create ghosts?
I have never thought about that before. I have no idea.
This is patent pending, by the way, so don't you try and take
I
this.
am not going to try and take it. That is all you, honey. You take it and you run with it. I have no idea. I think that it is really subjective to the person, their past, what they believe in, the circumstances in which. I don't think you can control every single variable in order to create a perfect storm, to create a spirit.
Do you
But
think AI could help us identify people that would potentially haunt a house?
AI, man. Gah. AI can do a lot of things. I don't even know. AI is spooky.
Can you talk to ghosts with AI, you think?
Probably. I mean, at least it would convince you probably that it could.
Like we don't have to get into the weeds on how technology works or anything, but I mean, we're both familiar with how a Ouija board works. And to
Ugh,
me, it
yeah.
almost seems that you pop open Chat GPT or whatever and you start asking questions.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem too far off from some
No.
kind of a Ouija board, right? And in fact, a
No.
lot of people I know, they're like, I'll never touch a Ouija board, but they do use Chat GPT all the time to craft
Mhm.
emails and social posts or whatever. So
Oh, chat. Ouija boards, man. John, the Ouija board, he blew my mind with his level of knowledge with Ouija boards. Like he actually made me be like, okay, maybe I could touch one and not have bad things happen.
like
Because
what?
I hadn't touched one since like I do have one. After I had my interview with John, I went and bought one just because I wanted it in here for decoration, but it's not in here. I still haven't put it in here because I'm just like, I had an experience when I was younger and it scared the crap out of me. And so I haven't played with one since, and I'm surprised I even own one, but it's in the box, in the plastic, in a bag somewhere.
Before you were 13?
Mhm.
So what was that? What was the experience that scared the crap out of you?
We were at a sleepover and there was about 4 or 5 of us. I think there was 5. And, we were about maybe 12, 13. It was all around the same time. lots of things going on around the same time.
But it was before your ghost
Yeah.
shared experience.
Yeah. And we went to the sleepover and we were playing it, and we were also playing light as a feather, stiff as a board.
Okay.
And I don't know which one we played first. I don't know if we played the Ouija board first or if we did light as a feather, stiff as a board first. But I know when we did light as a feather, stiff as a board, we started like all chanting, like we were all little witches there. And she started to like raise up. Now she could have been doing this, looking back, she could have been doing this to freak us out, and we all freaked out. Well, then I can't, like I said, I can't remember which one we did first, but then we played the Ouija board and it started moving. And we're like, are you moving it? No, are you moving it? No, are you moving it? And it started like, and then it got like really, I don't know, it's like the energy shifted. We all were so freaked out that it was moving and the energy shifted, and we got so scared, and we went and we shoved the thing in the freezer. So we were all forcing the Ouija board in the freezer, and we like got it closed, and we were like, oh, okay, that'll do it. Got it, keep that demon in that freezer, freeze them out. And then we were leaving, and the freezer popped open, and we all just started screaming. I look back now that I'm a mother, I'm like, I wonder what that mama was doing that night. Like, ugh.
Can I just say too that you've roughly described the plot of Ghostbusters 1? Like that's sort of what they do is they go and they catch a ghost and they put it in their big ghost freezer, and then it breaks out and they have to hunt it back down again, right? It sounds like you were a 12-year-old Ghostbuster and you didn't even realize it. It sounds like.
I didn't even know it. Look at me being a researcher, even more so.
Do you think ghosts could be summoned, or is that not how ghosts work?
Yes, I think you can summon things. I think you can open
Do
things.
they have to already live there?
I don't think so. I think I have a friend, his name is Anthony, and he kind of explains it as like a telephone. And he's like, if you're talking to somebody, no matter where you are, they can just kind of pick it up. And I'm like, okay, I'll accept that, because energy is infinite. Energy is not, when you're not in this kind of vessel and you're not, here, it's just kind of like light. It can go anywhere. It's not contained. And to me, it doesn't have to be in a certain area in order to react. It can just kind of like, okay, well, somebody's calling me. Need to go over here. I know I probably sound crazy.
No, you're honestly, this is probably the point where I'm most willing to concede and be like on the exact same level with you. Because, for example, when Alexander Graham Bell, quote unquote, invented the telephone, or was like one of the earlier guys, him and Tom Watson, the guy that he was working with, they were spiritualists, and and Alexander Graham Bell believed that when you picked up a phone and you made a call to someone, that you were using spirits as the medium, that they were like listening to what you said and then running it down the line and then repeating what they heard in your voice. And like, I'm oversimplifying that a little bit, but he truly believed that there was a paranormal thing at work. So even though he's the guy, and I don't pretend to know more about the telephone than Alexander Graham Bell, I don't even know how much he understood about it, but if he believed that there might have been ghosts running the telephone networks, I can't disprove it in the early 19th or 18th or the 18th or 19th centuries, and I can't disprove it right now in 2025. So
well, and you got to think about it, especially in that time. There was like, information was so contained to where they were. There was no kind of spread of information. There was no social media. They had newspapers, but it was, you had newspaper where you were. The information wasn't spread like it is now. Imagine like you create something like a telephone, and all of a sudden somebody's on the other end. It's like, oh, this is magic. Like, it makes sense why they would think that. It's kind of like I explained to my daughters. This is a little bit different, but the same. I have a daughter who's very skeptical. She's very, very religious, very, very religious, thinks I am going straight to hell because of what I do and what I talk about and what I believe. And I'm like, okay. But
Catholic?
I told her, no, she's not. She's Southern Baptist.
No, any kind of Christian has to forgive you anyways, right? So
I would hope so. That's what they say. So I'd hope my daughter, but whatever. She goes to church with her stepmom, and so she's been baptized in the Southern Baptist Church. So, and I'm just, you do you. I want her to figure it out on her own. You
can't wash off that Catholic baptism though. From what I understand from Archdiocese, like once you got it, like you're good.
Yep. Well, I got it when I was a baby, so here I am.
You can't be washed off. You're good to go.
Well, and I tell her, she's like, I don't believe anything that I can't see, and I'm like, I said, "You don't see the wind and you don't see static, but you know it exists." And she just looks at me and she's like, "Well, I can see it." And I said, "No, you're seeing the side effects of it. You're seeing the consequence of it. You're seeing the, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? You're seeing what it produced, with the trees moving. That's what you don't see the wind, but you're seeing the trees move." Like, that's kind of how, that's my belief. It's like, there's a lot of things that I do not see in person, but I believe that they're there.
Do you think that ghosts could be put to work?
Eh, I know there's some psychic mediums that believe that some ghosts need purpose. And I'm like, I don't know. I have never met a ghost that's like put me to work. You know what I mean? I do know that I have called out to my ancestors before when I've been having issues with maybe my spirituality, or when my haunting was getting really dark and it was scaring me. And I call out to my ancestors for help and then things get better. But I don't feel like they have a job. I feel like they are just protecting and looking out.
Well, maybe not on their own accord, right? But like, for example, if a ghost can throw a candle across the wall, a ghost could probably wash a dish, right? A ghost could
Well,
probably help you get that thing off the top shelf if it wanted to. If you were both aligned, then a
yeah.
ghost theoretically could be put to work. No,
Oh yeah. 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 Exactly. That makes sense. I used to I used to tell Wayne all the time, I'm about to start charging you rent because he kept turning all my lights on. And I'm like, electricity isn't free, my man. Okay.
No, you mean like the physical light switch would flip up or down, or
So
would the light just come on?
I had, okay. So I had lights that were on remotes and motion sensor lights. And so my lights that were on remotes were the ones that he would manipulate the most. Now, the other side of that's like, well, couldn't they be being manipulated by other frequencies? Yes. But the amount that it happened, the times that it would happen, it would be almost crazy to think that there was somebody around manipulating, opening a garage, closing the garage, opening the garage, closing the garage, which is catching a frequency to affect a light. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So when the times that it would happen, like I have one, I don't know where the video is, but I have one video where it is 4 o'clock in the morning and I am sleeping in my guest room and the light is coming on, going off, coming
It's like
on.
paranormal activity, kind of.
Uh-huh. And it's like, but it was on a remote. I had to get up and finally turn the light switch off. I have had so where I am now is in the attic and I have two recessed lights over me. They are not on remote. They are switches. I have had in the past month, I've come home twice and my office lights have been on. My studio lights have been on and they are not on a remote or of any kind. You have to turn the switch on.
In this house?
In this house, yes.
So, I mean, does that mean like a ghost followed you there or what?
I have stuff. So I have abilities and I have been trying to work them and harness them. Does that make sense? And I have been told that when you start opening up, you kind of attract things. And so I'm not sure if that's what's happening, but I know that they haven't been coming on until this past month. And it's like, okay.
What are you
So,
doing to train?
well, I was working with a mentor. I'm no longer working with her, but I was working with a mentor and I did a 4-week program. And now I have other psychic medium friends and they send me some information. And I just try to mainly do protection and I try not to doubt myself. So when I get something that's so random, I try not to just write it off. I try to okay, what could that be?
Why did you stop working with the mentor?
I just did a 4-week program.
Okay, it was just the end of at the conclusion of it.
Yeah.
So when you went into it and then when you came out of it, what was the big difference? Like, what did you get out of your 4-week program?
A lot of protection. I learned how to protect myself. I learned to not doubt myself as much.
How do we protect ourselves so we don't have to go to a 4-week program? You've gone to it. You've been through it. Like, can you just give us here? How do I protect myself spiritually?
Well, prayer works, holy water, anointed oil, things like that to
How do you
protect your
get
house.
holy water?
Holy water. So I just had a conversation with JJ from Southern Demonology yesterday, and I asked him about that. And he, you can either have a priest. So back in the old days, there was all these things that priests had to do to anoint water to make it holy water. But nowadays, you can just go to a Catholic church and they can just bless it and then they'll call it holy water. So there's two different types of holy water is what he was telling me. I'm not an expert. This is just from what he told me. I believe the holy water that I've gotten from my mom, who loved to bring it to me, and I used it all in my last house, well, she would go take it to the Catholic church and the priest would bless it.
Do you think if someone steals holy water, it invalidates it?
Well, stealing's a sin, isn't it?
Yeah, but let's say
Mm.
I saw someone that just went to the Catholic church. They got like a 5-gallon jug of holy water, like anointed or whatever, and then I run up and I steal it from them, and now I have the holy water. Do you think it's still as holy, even though I just stole it? Like, will it still work for me?
I think the water will still be holy, but I don't know if you are. It might
I mean,
just
if
be like,
we're trying
well,
to get rid of ghosts here, no,
he's
all
a
is
sinner.
there, and I don't know. I mean, they probably a sinner too. Just because they were getting holy water from some Catholic priest doesn't mean that they're free from sin, right?
No, nobody's free from sin, but if you go and you steal it, like, I'm sure if you would just ask for it, they'd give it to you.
I mean, if I'm already there at the church, it would be kind of a dick move. Like, all I
That
have
would
to
be
do
a
is
dick
go
move.
inside.
Like, I'm going to take your
Yeah.
holy water.
I'm just more curious on like if there's some qualitative property to the water itself. Like once it's blessed, like it can't be unblessed. Like it is good to
No.
go. I could ship it over the country. I could
Yeah.
freeze it. I could make little holy water ice
Yeah.
cubes and like all of that. It would still be holy the entire
Yeah.
time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't
Okay.
become unholy. Now, your morals might be questioned, but, you know.
Well, I mean, this was a theoretical. I'm not out here stealing holy water from
Stop
people.
stealing the holy water. What are you doing with yourself?
Do you remember when orbs were big? Like when someone would take a photo or like a
Yeah.
video in like early 2000s, I
Yeah.
think it was probably big. What are your thoughts on orbs now?
So I've seen some orbs that I cannot explain. And I had one that was in the house. I mean, everything kind of for me started with this house. Like it really kind of blew all my senses open with this house. Living in it was crazy. But nobody was home. All the lights were off. My dogs they love to break out of where I had them and kind of explore the house. And so I would check my cameras to see if they were doing what they were supposed to be doing. And so I tuned into my kitchen to make sure they weren't in the kitchen. And I saw this orb come out from underneath the dining room table and straight to the camera like I disturbed it. So that one's one that I can't explain. But other things, I mean, light anomalies can come from reflections, from bugs, from anything. Like it really is one of those things. It's like not everything is an orb. Not everything is a light anomaly or like unexplainable or spiritual. You know, there's some things that are just bugs. There's some things that are just dust. Like I see videos of people like in an attic and you see all these things flying up and people are like, oh, look at all those orbs. And I'm like, y'all are in an attic. Like you have somebody walking through an attic. Like dust is going to come up. You know what I mean? But then you get orbs like there's a dungeon in the Missouri State Prison. And it's one of those things like there's no exterior light. It's only light that you have. I mean, it's very dark. I mean, the hole was it was a horrible, horrible, horrible place. And they have captured orbs that just appear in front of you and then disappear. So those to me are more spiritual or more unexplainable than when you're in an attic dancing around and you have stuff everywhere.
So the orbs, clearly there's people that claim it's all supernatural and really it's like it's just a fleck of dust went by your camera. And I think that on that same spectrum, you could be in an old house and sit there and hear every little creak as the house settles and think like, that's a ghost, that's a ghost, that's a ghost. Do you have a litmus test? Do you have like criteria that you run through mentally when you're deciding if something's paranormal or if it's mundane?
Yeah, I do. Personally, I do.
What's your checklist? What things have to be checked off to either prove itself or disprove itself?
With the knocks in this house, when I knock and it knocks back, to me, I'm like, that's weird. Now, I'm not saying that's a ghost. I'm just like, that's weird. I can't explain that. I get a knock over my head a lot. just right here. Now, I know because we built this studio. My husband and I built this studio. So I know what's behind this sheetrock, and I know that there is no way anything can tap on the other side of the sheetrock. There's no attic on the other side. There's just really thick insulation and then roof. And my house is a 2-story, and there's absolutely nothing above my house. So when I'm getting a knock right above my head, right here, and it's like, that to me is like, that's odd.
Could
Right?
it be a squirrel dropping a nut?
Well, and it sounds like it's inside the wall, like right above my head. I don't know. It sounds like it's on the sheetrock. It doesn't sound like it's on the shingles. It sounds like it's. Does that make sense?
It does. So entertain me just for a
Okay.
split second on this one. So let's say that it's literally coming from the sheetrock and not the shingle.
Mhm.
Is the ghost able to? Would a ghost be able to like select the exact layer of your infrastructure on like which it wants to like make a resonance out of? Like if it wanted to knock on the shingle, I'm sure it could,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it decided like I'm gonna knock on the sheetrock. Or is there
Right.
is there any like rhyme or reason to the specificity of like it's coming from inside versus from outside?
To me, it's the sound. It's the sound difference. Because I'm sitting in here without my headphones on, working, editing, doing whatever, and I can hear it. There's a distinct difference from a knock on a shingle to a knock on the inside of.
I trust your reception of that. I'm just wondering, is like
Right.
the ghost deciding to do that just to mess with you?
It could be. Like, haha. I've been told that the previous owner, I have a psychic medium bestie, and when we talk through the screen, she'll be like, your ghost is in your room. And he really likes this space. And to me, it's like, okay, if he's in here and I'm asking him to knock, and say he's behind me somewhere, right? And he's going to I ask him to knock, and he's right here, then, I mean, he's not going to go, in my mind, not going to go out and knock on the shingles. If he's here, he's just like, hey, I'm right here. You think I'm here? I'm here. Now I don't know. I have no idea, because you can't see them. I can't see them. I can't, I don't, I don't see them like you and I see each other. I don't see where they are. My abilities are, I hear them. I can hear them. Sometimes I'll hear them talking to me in my ears, and I'm like, who is saying that? It's very weird. It makes me feel crazy when it happens. Or I'll see them in my mind's eye, or if there's energy in the room, I can point at it where it is. But like I said, I can't prove that.
Do you think it's up to a ghost whether they want to be seen or not? Like,
Yes.
can they reveal and unreveal themselves
I think so. Yeah. Why not?
to individual people? Or like if
Mhm.
you were with your husband in a room, could a ghost be like, I'm going to reveal myself to Ashley, but I'm not going to reveal myself to Daniel?
Yeah, I think so. Now, I saw mine. I had one daughter that saw him as well, but nobody else did. Now, we weren't all in the same room when it happened, but he would almost only do things when certain people were in the room.
Do you think that ghosts can tell who can see them or not? Like
Yes.
if you just walked by and you didn't make eye contact, but you saw them, do you think they would know? They would inherently know, or could you fake like not being able to see one?
No, I think they know. I think when you are gifted or you are spiritually open, you become like a beacon, and they know it. I've been told by one of the first psychics I ever talked to, didn't pay her. I won a contest, my first ever psychic reading. She's like, they know they're there, and that's why they come to you, because they know you know. And I'm like, how do they know that I know? But I've always been able to walk in a building and feel things, or walk into a room and feel things, and especially with people. I can live people. I'm really good with picking up energies from people, like just meeting somebody and being like, I don't like that person. You know what I mean? Or I walked into the house we bought, or we made an offer on before we bought the house that was haunted. And I walked in, I was like, oh my God, this place is so sad. Like, I feel so sad. And my husband's like, that's fine. I'm like, it's so sad. I was like, I think somebody died of COVID. And I was like walking around, I was like, yeah, I really think somebody died of COVID in here. And then I did some research because I was really nosy, and I got this, I found their names, and I found out that the man died of COVID like 6 months before the house was listed. And so it's just one of those things, like I was picking up on it, but my husband wasn't.
Does that count as haunted if like a room in a house is just sad in general?
No,
Does
I don't
that
think
count as a haunting?
no, I think haunted is like to me, and I'm sure this is subjective to the person who's experiencing it. One person might have one little thing happen and be like, "Oh my god, it's haunted. I can't live here." But with me, it's a series of events. It's multiple things that happen regularly.
What if the room is regularly sad? Like if the room is just always sad, or do you think that would dissipate after a while?
I think it dissipates. I think once you can cleanse it, and once a new family comes in and it makes, you make new memories in the house, you make new energy in the house, then that it's not so much that there was a person there, but it's just the energy is left over.
What do you think it is? Do you think that's that same energy that when a dog or a cat in a retirement home will go and like sit outside someone's room or at like the edge of their bed because they know that they're gonna
Hmm.
pass? Do you think that that's related to this, or do you
Yes.
think that so,
I,
so do you think
I-
there's maybe like like cats and dogs could maybe be put to work to sniff out like spiritual phenomena, maybe?
yeah. Well, probably, but like they have had dogs in nursing homes before, and they would have dogs that would like go, like you were saying, and they would sit at somebody's bed, and every time they would do that for the
Do you think
person
the
would die.
dog was killing those people?
I don't think the dogs are precious angel babies, and I don't think that the dog was killing
I've seen
anybody.
some rough pit bull videos on the internet.
Okay, well, why are you looking at that?
The algorithm
No.
pushes that. I'm not looking for that.
No, I have a pit bull. He's a baby. See, I see pit bulls
Be careful.
I see pit bulls in bows and little necklaces. Okay, that's what my algorithm is pushing. I'm not looking at pit bulls.
Pit bulls terrify me. Just they're epigenetically bred to like
Aw.
instigate problems with bulls. It's right in the name. They would throw them into a big, like a big pit with a freaking bull
Well,
and rile them up.
I tell you one thing, my baby's not instigating anything except a
Okay.
meal and a nap.
I'm not
Okay,
talking smack about nobody's babies or their dogs.
off my Lukey Pookie baby.
Do you remember the show Ghost Rider on PBS?
Oh, what? Why does that sound so familiar?
Because it was a Christian show, but it was a show that was in the late 80s, early 90s about a bunch of kids that would read books and a ghost would come out of the books and it would like help them solve crimes, but then also lead them to like Bible passages, I think.
Okay, no, I don't know that one. That was not what I was thinking of.
Uh you already mentioned earlier the Conjuring. I was asking like what are some legitimate, like the closest to legitimate ones that could
Mhm.
convince people? Conjuring, and then I also mentioned later when you were talking about setting up cameras and seeing like activity on cameras, the Paranormal Activity, two movies that are like fairly popular, well known. Do you think there's any specific movies about ghosts that are more right than others?
I don't watch scary movies.
At all?
No.
How do you do ghost research? You even watch ghost movies?
N Not fiction, no.
Fair enough. Why not?
Because so with fiction, usually ghost movies have horror, and I have a very I don't have a photographic memory, but I have a very, very detailed memory. And like I can't remember what I wore yesterday or what I had for dinner yesterday. But if I see something like that, it will like almost imprint in my mind and I will not be able to get it out of my brain. Like every time I close my eyes, I will re-see it, relive it. And so I just find it much easier not to watch it.
Do you think that there's a risk for people that watch horror movies?
No,
Like a ghost related spiritual risk of any kind?
no, I
What do
don't
you think
think
there's
so.
any kind of risks? Is there anything that someone might be doing in their daily life and not even realize it, that's either pissing ghosts off or that's going to like garner them negative rapport with the ghost world?
Well, hell, my ghost hated me and I just existed. So, I mean, I'm sure that anything is possible. I was just a strong willed woman living in a house that I bought and I was making somebody really angry. So I think that, yeah, people can do things to aggravate the energy around them. Sure.
Do you think he would have been pissed off at anyone that moved in?
He loved my husband.
Really? How did that express itself?
I always just felt it. I know that sounds crazy. I always just felt it. I was like, God, he likes you. because
Did like his shower warm up like quicker than yours or something, or what?
well, it's almost like no, not that, but it was almost like the things that it was doing when he was around were gentler. Like one night he was sitting in the living room and he was studying for a test that he had for his work. And I'm in bed and I mean, me and the dogs, we are sleeping. And he was studying and I always told him, just talk to them like they're people because they used to be people. So just talk to them like they're people. So the light came on and he's like, like, so I don't need that on right now. Can you turn it off for me? And just went back to working and the light turned off. And I'm like, he never turns lights off for me. They're always on. On. Everything's on in the middle of the night. On, off, on, off, on, off. I'm like, oh my God. I'll be folding laundry. Lights go off. I'm like, what is happening?
I'm asking you to speculate on this. I'm not asking if you've actually seen this or anything.
Okay.
Do you, in addition to turning lights on and off, do you think a ghost or any kind of spiritual energy that you communicate with has the potential to like light up an incandescent light bulb? Like if you were just like had it in the middle of the room, that they could like light it up too? Or are they just limited to like cutting and like, connecting paths of existing electricity?
Huh. Well, I mean, I've had things go off that didn't have batteries, weren't plugged in. So I think, yeah, I mean, light bulb, I don't know. I think anything is possible. I think if you're talking about paranormal and things that you cannot explain, sure, anything, sure. Okay. Anything is possible. But I have had an experience with a little toy that had no batteries in it, had no source of power. And yet that little thing was talking.
Have you never even seen The Shining?
No.
Oh my God. Such a classic. Room 1407.
But I know what it's based off of. I've done an episode on the Stanley Hotel.
What do you think about all that?
The Stanley or The Shining?
Well, the Stanley approach, there's so many explanations of what his interpretation of The Shining were ultimately about. Do you have an impression on what?
Something about that hotel. When it first opened, there was some tragedies there. You had the maid. Can't remember her name. It's been about a year since I did that episode.
Are we talking about the real hotel in
the real hotel
world and not in movie world?
I don't know a thing about The Shining. All I know is Stephen King and his wife were traveling through Estes Park, Colorado. And it was right around the time that the hotel was about to shut down for the season. And they were like the only people there. And he could not sleep. And he just started writing. And he wrote the plot of The Shining while he was at the Stanley Hotel that night. So
I think it's just a coincidence that it was the Stanley Hotel and then Stanley Kubrick ended up remaking it.
Who?
Okay, that's fair.
I say I've never seen it. I don't know. I didn't research the movie. I just researched the hotel.
Do you watch any movies?
No, not really.
What's your media consumption like?
I watch Dateline. I love true crime. I consume a lot of true crime. My husband's like, you're such an anomaly. He's like, you hate scary things, but you can watch true crime and sleep like a baby, but anything horror and then you won't sleep for a week. And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, you realize that stuff was real, right? I said, yeah, but they don't show it. They just talk about it. Human behavior fascinates me.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I understand and both don't understand the logic, if that makes sense.
I know. Me too. I just stopped trying to understand.
Like our movies didn't keep me up, but America's Most Wanted kept me up because those were real people that were actually hurting you. And they would literally say, and we don't know where they are and we need your help. And I'm like 8, like, what am I supposed to do about this?
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm like, ooh, fascinating.
Okay.
Which one kept me up though? What was that? Rescue 911? Because we're about the same age, I think. I'm 40. So
early 40s, yeah.
Yeah. So Rescue 911. Like I vividly remember the girl that was in the hot tub and she ended up like going down and her hair got stuck in that filter. That I vividly remember. That kept me up at night.
There was one about a bunch of guys that were at like a bonfire and one of them was wearing a polyester windbreaker and he's like, I'm gonna pour more gasoline on the fire, and it like jumps up and explodes, and then the polyester catches on fire, and it like
Oh,
welds to his skin. And
oh,
so
yeah.
that was the last episode I think I ever watched. I was just like, I'd rather watch X-Files.
No, I'd rather watch Unsolved Mysteries.
Do you think Mothman is a ghost? Are you familiar with Mothman?
I'm not familiar. I know one of my girlfriends is Mothman for Halloween, but I'm not familiar with Mothman. I don't know a lot about cryptids.
You don't have to watch the movie. There is a book, and I think the book is supposed to be better than the movie. Although haven't read the book, but I have seen the movie. But to some people, Mothman has been interpreted as kind of a ghost, and it's like a technological one that can like almost like a ghost in the machine that can jump into electronics or into a phone line and like make sounds through the phone line. Kind of sounds like what Alexander Graham Bell was describing earlier
It was
on.
Mothman all along.
I don't know. I mean, maybe or aliens or Bigfoot or whatever, right?
Right. You just never know. Can't explain it. Who knows?
Okay. I've got a little segment that I'm just gonna jump right into, and then I'll explain how it works right after this.
Hey, conspiracy buffs! I double dare you to take some PCP, the Paranormal Conspiracy Probe. On your marks, get set, and go.
Okay, you're just gonna rate things from 1 to 10. So if I say you believe in dinosaurs on a scale from 1 to 10, where are you at?
10.
Dragons,
5.
ghosts.
10.
Lee Harvey Oswald shot JFK.
Do I have to answer? I don't know.
Yeah, no, you have to answer.
I have to answer. I have to. I signed up for this, right? 7? I don't know.
Let me ask it another way. How much do you care if Lee Harvey Oswald shot JFK or not on a scale from 1 to 10?
It's not that I don't care. It's not that I don't
that's
care.
the question now. Now I'm asking how much you care.
Oh God, I care. I care that he died. I'm not a black and white person, so this is hard for me. I got a lot of gray areas.
I mean, he either shot him or he didn't, right?
I know. I don't know.
Black and white.
I know, but you know what I mean. Like either way, he died.
If he left a little bit of brains, and maybe it's like a 7 instead of a 10, or what?
Oh my God.
This is true crime, is it not?
I don't know much about it.
Okay, fair enough. You're off the hook. You got a number.
I wasn't born.
How about Bigfoot? How much do you believe in Bigfoot? 1 to 10.
7.
Aliens?
8.
Does it matter if we're talking like grays or shape-shifting reptilians? Just they all get an 8?
Yeah.
Nordic aliens?
I don't know anything about Nordic aliens.
How about chemtrails?
No clue what that is.
How about HARP?
No clue. Dude, should I call my husband? He would be much better suited for this.
He can come on the next one. How about the theory of evolution? Darwinism.
Oh. Ugh.
That doesn't
7?
sound like a 10.
No, 7? I don't know. Never.
Wow. Okay. You're still rating it fairly high.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's proof that evolution happened.
How about hell?
See, I'm not a black and white person. I think that hell exists, but it's different for every person. So, I mean, I believe in hell. So let's say 8. Let's say 8.
Okay. I feel like the 0 to 10 allows you to be gray. You can say 5 and like it's kind of who
But
knows.
if I don't know
or.
anything about it, it's hard for me to be anywhere on the spectrum.
I mean, well, raised Catholic, I'd hope you at least know something about hell.
Yes. I mean, I believe hell exists. I don't think it's a place that's burning. But
okay. The thing that sucks about hell is just knowing that it exists gets you a ticket to go there. But if you don't know it exists, then technically you don't have the ticket, at least according to Catholicism, as I understand it. How about the Titanic sank the way that we were told it sank?
Oh, I always thought so. But according to my husband, I was lied to.
Yeah, I'm with your husband on this one. But this is about you, not me. So where are you at 1 to 10?
I'm just going to put myself 5. I don't know.
How about flat Earth?
1.
How about that there's something secret behind the Arctic wall?
Is there? I've never heard of that.
Well, this is one of the claims of flat Earth is that behind the Arctic wall, there's, who knows, infinite land or other civilizations or whatever. Let's just say that flat Earth doesn't exist and it's a big sphere.
Yeah.
But there's still an Arctic wall, and we're still not allowed to go beyond it because of all sorts of international agreements. Like they'll send Coast Guard out and take you down. So I'm just
Oh.
curious if there's anything out there.
I don't know. 5. I don't know.
How about the lost land of Atlantis being real, like an actual Atlantis?
Your listeners are gonna be like, "Where'd you find this person?" I don't know.
How about 9/11 was an inside job?
Don't. It's too soon. He told me that one too. Oh,
Is this new? Is this new to you?
we'd had a conspiracy episode last year sometime, and he said something, and I was like, what? I've never heard that before. I'm not a conspiracy person. He is. I'm not. We are very different on that regard. I'm telling you, he'd be eating this up right now.
Do you remember what you were doing on 9/11?
I do. Yeah.
What were you doing?
I was junior year of high school. I was in the nurse's office. I had just got sent home sick. I was in my car leaving the parking lot, listening to B93.7 on Butler Road when the first plane hit. And by the time I got home, my sister was home from college for whatever reason. Maybe it was holiday. I don't know why she was home from college, but she was home. And by the time I got home, the second plane had hit, and we turned the TV on and watched the towers fall together.
Okay, so you've at least heard, though, from your husband ideas that it was an inside job, right? That I assume if I paint with that broad of a stroke, then
Yes.
that makes sense. So can you rate that on one to 10 or 0 to 10 right now? Where are you at on that sliding scale?
I don't want to be anywhere over I'll say a 1. I don't want to believe it. I don't want to believe it.
Okay, I won't destroy your reality too much.
No, I'm telling you, my husband is much he would be loving this right now. I hate all of this.
Could you get to a 10, or you just won't entertain it?
I don't want to entertain. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it.
How about human clones walk among us today? 1 to 10.
1.
What about cryogenics, like Walt Disney frozen head or whatever? Do you think someone could get frozen and then unfrozen in the future?
No,
Never?
not if they're dead.
Well, what if they freeze you while you're alive?
No, I don't know. I figure you die if your heart's not beating.
How about 1 to 10 that someone has successfully summoned a demon in the last century?
Oh, I just had the demonology guy on yesterday.
But demonology is a study of demons. It doesn't mean that you know how to summon demons, right?
No, yeah, we didn't talk about that. We talked about he studied them, like he studies them. God, I just don't think demons just are ones that just answer phone calls. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you egged one on enough, right?
Well,
that
if you
counts.
poke the bear, sure. I'm going to say 5. Let's say 5. Right in the middle. I don't know.
Okay. How about that someone's walked on the moon in the last 100 years?
Are you going to burst my bubble about that too?
I just want to know what you think.
I think 7.
Okay.
I want to not believe it.
How about that crystals have magic powers?
10. Don't burst my bubble on it.
Okay. And maybe this is the same answer for this one. Law of attraction.
10. Yeah.
Full 10. Like where when The Secret came out, were you all in on it?
I from what I have learned through life experience, what you put out in the world, you attract.
Okay. Well, tell people where they can find you, what your podcast name is. Do you air on certain days? Do you have any specials coming up?
I do. I have a Halloween special tomorrow. I'm guessing this will come out after that. So y'all, the Halloween special will still be up. Go listen to it. But I am on Ghost Gossip, all platforms. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, all the things. Every episode comes out on Monday. And yeah, I am not a conspiracy podcast.
What are your top 3 episodes? If someone goes and they're like, I'm going to go and check out Ghost Gossip, what are the 3 that you would recommend someone start with?
The Washoe Club. The Washoe Club's really good. The Halloween one is Listener Happenings. That's going to be really good. So if you're listening after Halloween, listen to that one. That one is really, really good. And then the Stanley Hotel one is very good. Also, the Crescent Hotel one is very good.
I mean, you led right off with the Washoe Club. Can you just tell me about the Washoe Club right now?
Yeah, I can. So the Washoe Club is in Virginia City, Nevada. And I say Nevada wrong, and I know I say it wrong, but nobody tells me how to say it right.
That's right. That's the right way to say it. I don't care.
I know people. I have people message me. They're like, you say that wrong. I'm like,
What do
somebody
you
tell
just say,
me.
Nevada?
I have no clue. I don't know. I have no clue if I'm saying. They said the A is long. I'm like, which one?
Nevada?
Nevada. I don't know. But anyway, it's in
Okay.
Virginia City out there. And it was big in the Old West. They struck silver out there and it became a huge mining town. And the Washoe Club has just a history of bad luck. And it was actually one of the funniest stories. It's not funny, people died, but it's still kind of comical. There was a guy that was some kind of general in the army and he handled all the explosives. And this is before the Washoe Club became the Millionaires Club, where all the presidents and the rich people went to gamble all their life savings away. But this guy decided to bring home explosives to his apartment and he had a pet monkey. Well, the pet monkey, he was letting play with the explosives, and the pet monkey actually set the explosives off and it like flattened, it blew up everything right in that area. Tons of people died. It was very sad. And then there was some other things that happened in that area. So some people there was just a slew of tragic deaths. So there's a lot of energy right there. But the Washoe Club was opened. I can't remember the details. I don't have it in front of me. But there are ghosts on all 3 floors. You have more of neutral spirits on the bottom floor. There's like an old bar guy and he likes to drink shots of whiskey. They say that if you leave whiskey out, he'll drink your whiskey, and he loves to open the doors for the ladies. So ladies, if you would like to meet a gentleman, go to the Washoe Club. He's at the bar, allegedly. I don't know. The second floor is where the ballroom is. You have the lady in blue who has been seen on the staircase. And you have a man who is like Mr. Boots. He like bangs when he walks. He has boots on, and you can hear him walking on the second floor. And then there's some other spirits on the second floor. There's also a little girl, I believe, named Gretchen. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure. And then on the third floor, you have the more malevolent floor, and you have the crawler, and he likes to scratch people.
Can animals haunt, or is it like strictly a human thing?
No. My first experience was with an animal.
What kind of things do animals haunt?
I think they stay with their families. I'm not sure if it's haunting or if it's more of a visitation, because I think they just stay with their family. The ones that I've experienced with, the first one was the little boys. I was babysitting his parents' dog who had passed away 6 months prior to where I met him. And when I went and rang the doorbell and to go babysit, my parents were with me. There was barking at the bottom of the door and I was so excited. I was like, "Ooh." But when they opened the door, there was no dog there. And I just figured he bit and they put him away. Would hear the dog throughout the night. Didn't see the dog, didn't look for the dog. And when they got home, I asked him, "Where's your dog?" And they're like, "Well, he died 6 months ago." And they were like, "We hear him every now and again. We never know who does. We never know who doesn't. So we don't really say anything about it." But yeah, he was just not so much haunting. It was like more of a residual thing. He was just kind of there hanging out with the fam.
Yeah, I guess when I'm using the word haunting this whole time, I might be putting on like an extra level of bias that I don't realize. Because when I'm thinking haunting, I just think like, this is the bus stop that the ghost shows up to. It's a haunted bus stop. It doesn't mean that like anything malevolent's happening, but for some reason there's a spiritual energy connected to a certain location.
Yeah.
And I guess I just consider that haunted.
Yeah. So
Is there a better term for that?
No, probably not. But with me, I'm just like, when I think of haunting, I think of an active haunting where it's like lights coming on and off, things moving, noise is happening, knocking, people see things. There's something that's actively happening on a regular basis. It is pouring. Sorry, it just started pouring. I can hear it. But to me, that's what that is. But when you have things like pets or like grandparents, it's more like visitation almost. It's not so much a haunting. They're not doing anything. They're just kind of there.
Do you know anything about like the Day of the Dead?
Yes.
So like there's a certain day that the dead can cross over and you can pay your respects, and it's sort of like a visitation day.
November 1st, I believe.
Right. Is that like a door, do you think, that's just always open though? Like grandma and grandpa can come in whenever, they don't have to wait for the Day of the Dead?
My grandmother is always with me, so yes, I think they don't have to wait. My grandmother's always with me.
Do you act differently knowing your grandma's always there?
Sometimes, because I'm like,
you ever about to do something and then you're like, "Ooh, don't do that. Grandma's watching."
I'm like, sorry, I got to do it anyway.
Okay, you just apologize out loud.
I'm just sorry. I love you, mean it. I gotta handle this. Yeah. She's always with me. She's one of my spirit guides. She's always with me. So yeah. And I mean, I know she's always around, but yeah, sometimes I'm just like, sorry, got to do it anyway. Different time.
I think the summary of the monkey exploding the apartment and that leading to like a haunted monkey hotel or apartment.
Well, the
or
monkey
something.
doesn't haunt, but yeah.
Okay, well, but he caused the haunting.
He caused part of yes. Yeah.
So if I was asking a monkey about the formula to create a ghost, he might be able to give me some of the recipe. And it includes dynamite, is what I'm hearing.
Dynamite, a desert, a mining town, and a monkey, and people around that are going to die. Sure.
Kind of sounds like how like Scientology was invented.
Oh my God. I have no idea. I'm 0. I don't know.
1 to 10, Scientology.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to know.
You got to make a call. It's a religion.
I don't know. I think it's very real to them. I don't know.
Ready for a cosmic conspiracy about Stanley Kubrick, moon landings, and the CIA? Go visit nasacomic.com.
nasacomic.com, CIA's biggest con. Stanley Kubrick put us on. That's why we're singing this song. I'm nasacomic.com. Go visit nasacomic.com. Go visit nasacomic.com. Yeah, go visit nasacomic.com. Oh, nasacomic.com, CIA's biggest con. Stanley Kubrick put us on. That's why we're singing this song. I'm nasacomic.com. Go visit nasacomic.com. Go visit nasacomic.com. Yeah, go visit nasacomic.com.
Never a Straight Answer is a 40-page comic about Stanley Kubrick directing the Apollo space missions.
Yeah, go visit nasacomic.com.
This is the perfect read for comic, Kubrick, or conspiracy fans of all ages. For more details, visit nasacomic.com.
Paranoid. Yo. I scribble my life away, driven to write the page. Will it enlighten your brain? Give you the flight, my plane, paper the highs ablaze. Somewhat of an amazing feel when it's real to real. You will engage it. Your favorite, of course, the Lord of an arrangement. I gave you the proper results to hit the pavement. If they get emotional, hey, maybe your language, a game, how they playing it well without Lakers. Evade them, whatever the cost, they are the shapeshift. Snakes get decapitated, met is the apex. Execution of flame you out, nuclear bomb distributed at war, rather gruesome for eyes to see. Max them out, then I light my trees. Blow it off in the face, you're despising me for what though? Calculated and rather cutthroat. Paranoid American must be all the blunt smoke for real. Lord, give me a day away, vacate. They wait around to hate whatever they say. Man, it's not in the least bit. We get heavy rotate when a beat hits, so thank us, you're welcome. Fuck the niggas for real, you're welcome. They ain't never had a deal, you're welcome. Man, they lacking appeal, you're welcome. Yet they doing it still, you're welcome.